Hi, my name is Todd Mackler. I'm the instructor for APS150, Introductory Ethics for Engineers at the University of Toronto. This is module number 4A, the Code of Academic Conduct. The university regulations include requirement to protect the integrity and safety of university activities, peaceful and safe enjoyment of the university housing by residents and neighbors, and the freedom of the members of the university to participate in the programs of the university and in activities of the university's premises. And to that end, they developed a code of behavior. So the behavior governs everyone, including students, staff, and faculty, and deals mostly with internal matters to the university. So when reading the code, you should be aware that every time you see the verb know, it means it also includes that you ought to have known. So ignorance of the code of conduct is no excuse. You are expected to know it. There are 2 web links at the bottom of the slide to the locations on the university's website where this information is provided, and it is required reading. And it's not overly long. There's a couple of pages worth of slides that show you the total content. That's how much material you need to read. You need to read it carefully, make notes on it, and be prepared for exam questions. But I'll go through it sort of a summary level highlight in the next few slides. So the university defines standards of student behavior and makes provisions for discipline whenever that behavior is not kept. And specifically, that includes any behavior that jeopardizes a good order and proper functioning of academic and non-academic programs and activities of the university. Anything that challenges the safety or health or rights or property of the members of the university or visitors. Anything that adversely affects the university except to the extent that it's already adequately regulated by civil and criminal law. For example, if you commit murder on the university property, then you'll be dealt with by the police, not by the university. So in the concept that we discussed in one of the earlier modules of tort law covers principles including the intention to cause harm or interference with reputation, interference with possessions or property, failure to take reasonable care. These also govern students and faculty enrolled or working on the campus. So let's look at interference with reputation. You know, if students, for example, were to cheat on tests and get a degree that they didn't really earn, then that could adversely affect the reputation of the university. And in theory, since that's covered by tort law, the university could actually sue that student for damage to the university's reputation. To avoid that sort of thing, the university has made clear what are considered to be academic offenses, and students must be aware of these and must not commit them. So the university basically tries to set up an environment that just doesn't enable cheating, misrepresentation, or unfairness. And the university will monitor this kind of activity and make sure that people aren't taking advantage by fraud or misrepresentation or disadvantaging any others by disruptive behavior or committing any acts of dishonesty or unfairness in dealing with their work as a student. So what's important, and a lot of people don't get this part, so pay close attention, is the definition of who are parties to the offense. So you can be a party to the offense if you're the one who actually committed the offense, but it also includes people whose actions or failure to act allowed the offense or enabled the offense to occur. So it's not only the person who did the wrong thing, it's if somebody did some action or failed to do some action that enabled or allowed that wrong action to occur, then they're a party to the offense, and they're also subject to sanctions. So it's, you know, if you assist a person, if you counsel them, if you conspire with them, if you take any of these actions that allow another person to commit an offense, then you're party to the offense as well. So in the case of a group, if a group is found guilty, then they're basically all subject to the same sanctions, even if it's one particular member of the group whose actions were, you know, primarily responsible, then others who allowed it to happen or were aware that it happened or enabled it to happen are also subject to, upon conviction, the sanctions provided for the offense. So academic offenses include forging, or in other ways altering or falsifying documents. If you have any kind of academic transcript that's required to gain entry to the University of Toronto, and you change it or alter it in some way to make your marks look better, that would be an example of forgery or falsification of documents. That is an offense. The use or even possession of unauthorized aids. For example, if you have an exam for which a calculator is not permitted and you bring a calculator in, that's an offense. If you personate another individual, for example, you write an exam and you do it for a friend and put their name on the exam, that's impersonation. That is an academic offense. And the same thing goes with writing an assignment for them, or using a clicker, or answering a top hat question on their behalf. All of those are impersonation, and they're all offenses. Offenses also include plagiarism. Plagiarism is covered in module number 5. Submitting any work that's already achieved an academic credit again for a second course without the knowledge and approval of the course administrator or the university is an offense. And submitting any data that's been concocted or information that's not strictly true is also an offense. Sanctions that can be imposed by the university include a reprimand. That you could just be told, don't do that again. That could also require resubmission of a particular assignment, rewriting of a particular exam. It could include a reduction in the grade of a particular assignment or even a course, and that reduction could be a partial reduction or complete reduction to 0. There could be a reduction in the final grade assigned after completion of all of the academic activities. Sanctions could also include denial of privileges. For example, you might be told that you can no longer work out in the gym if you behave in an unacceptable fashion while you're in the gym. There could be a monetary fine. There could also be suspension from attendance in the university, which might be a suspension for a term or for a year, or it might be an indefinite suspension. So all of these sanctions can be applied. The severity of the sanction is usually commensurate with the severity of the offense. First offenses will get usually less severe sanctions, and second and third offenses will get more severe sanctions. And the sanctions eventually, for third or more offenses could be expulsion from the university. That is the end of Module 4A.